What's up, guys? It's not showing anybody. It's not showing anybody on. Now I'm just getting some comments. What's up, fellas? I was gonna show you guys. I did this on Instagram last week, and what I kind of want to do is show you guys. I'm gonna give you guys what's up. What's up, guys? Hope you guys are having a happy, healthy, awesome New Year out there. It's kind of late, I know, but it's snowing out here. We went out last night. Got some thermal footage, man. I'll tell you what, we kind of set a pretty cool spot up. We had a calf that was got a sick calf. He died. I set him about 15 yards to the south of a calving shed. And those of you guys that might not know what a calving shed is, it's the calving sheds that we have, or that I should say Dad got last year. They're just a couple little ones. I bet you at the peak they're only about 5 foot tall at the peak. So there's an entrance that's about 3 feet tall, and it's probably 8 feet wide. Well, we all climbed inside of that and had our tripods set up, aiming to the south. The wind was in our favor, and we put that calf, like I said, 15 yards straight in front of us. And I guess I should say before we even went out there, we could go right off the balcony here and look and see if there was coyotes on there, and there was. So we knew that there was coyotes out there. We didn't get in there early enough, but we drove the pickup around and kind of spooked them with the truck. I think personally, they're a little more apt to come back in if you spook them with a vehicle versus walking out there and getting your scent, integrated into the location, whatever. So we spooked them off the pickup, walked in, got inside there, and that a coyote came in 15 yards in front of us. We're sitting there with the RS-75. I'm looking at him. You can damn near see this coyote blink, and had it on his head. And I don't know how he didn't. I don't understand. He was just a stupid pup. So I let him go. I told Keith and I'm like, we're not going to shoot this dumb little bastard, man. He gets a free pass tonight. This is just ridiculous. But cool footage nonetheless. What I was going to tell you guys is I did a little bit of I'll try to get to some of you guys' comments here whenever we start going into it, and try to watch this as things progress. But what I did on Instagram was show one of our last sets. This is going to be on YouTube. I actually have the A7S3 footage imported into Premiere right now, and I've got probably a quarter of the video edited. It's just going to be nothing crazy, but shows introduction, us driving in the vehicle, me explaining to you guys what we're getting into, what we're going to do, the sole purpose behind the set, where we're going to park, how we're going to do it, and then I film all of it, us getting the tripod set up with the A7S3 under the moon. So it's still dark, but you can see what we're doing. And then the some of the coolest footage that we've got with the RS-75 this year. I just want to show you guys what that thing does in the fog, because there's a lot of guys that really they get upset, they get emotionally tied to products. And my goal is to use a lot of different products and explain to you guys what I think of a product based on experience. And it's one of those things that I'm not emotionally tied to. I just like telling guys how the performance is, how they work. For thermal, fellas, when you're out at night and what we do, the major concern, the most adverse effect that you get with the thermal is humidity, right? When you're looking through humidity, and of course you get like horizontal winds. Anytime that wind picks up dirt, debris, pollen, whatever you've got through the air, when your thermal has to visually look through that, you have worse visual, obviously. But primarily what we deal with at night is humidity. Most of the time when the sun goes down, the wind usually settles down more than not. But I want to show you guys this thermal footage that we got over my buddy's feedlot. And this I'm panning probably 180 degrees, maybe not quite. I'm panning from the southeast to the west. And if I shine a flashlight here with what you're going to see, you couldn't see in the fog 75 yards. But what you're seeing in this RS75 is well past the half of a mile, and you will see the fog in it. But I just want to kind of show you guys what this HD thermal looks like in some of the worst circumstances out there. Cody, I just saw this. Today was a good day. I turned 40, went coyote hunting this evening. Now I'm watching ONEILLOPS. Thanks, dude. 40 as well. 43 here. And I act like I'm 20, do stupid shit like I'm 15. Stronger than I was when I was 20, 23, 24. But I'm feeling it, dude. I'm feeling it. I am 51, Todd. Awesome. Freaking. I don't know, a lot of guys say age is just a number. I wish that was the case, but it's crazy in this day and age, the shit that you can do to your body to help it out. You know, we're going to do that, man. I lifted weights. Rush, my oldest son, and I went down bench today, did incline. They have a basketball game tomorrow. He's working on 225 for his last set of 2, and he's freaking right there. I told him, I said, dude, you're not taking supplements until you can realize, listen, this is what you guys get with me. We're going from freaking a $18,000 thermal till I'm telling you guys a day in the life in the weight room about 6 hours ago. I mean, shit. Let's stay on track here, should we? I want you guys to see this, all right? I'm going to turn the camera around, and I am going to show you guys the pan across. Now, this is going to be something you guys are going to see in this production, but this is a sneak peek. This is some of the stuff that I think I'll probably start doing with like maybe a Patreon, where we'll go live like this, engage you guys, show you guys all of the stuff that happens beforehand, and walk you through it, explain to you in detail all of the stuff that I'm not going to be doing on the finished YouTube video. Or even if I do, I might just, it's going to be earlier access. You know what I'm saying? You guys are going to have earlier access. I'm just reading, guys. I want to keep going, but lift heavy, hunt coyotes, love God, needs to be that's cool, dude. I like that. I'm impressed, man. I was watching a podcast, and I don't know about this dude, Tate. What's his name? Dave Tate. I don't remember that. Tate, whatever. That Tate guy. You guys know who he is. And he was doing a podcast that had like 10 million views in 2 weeks or 4 days or something. I can't remember the guy that was interviewing him, but they brought up God a lot, and I was very impressed, because most of the time, man, you don't see that. It's cool. All right, let's do this. I want you guys to watch this, all right? I'm going to turn the camera around. Here we go. Now, there's going to be a little bit of glare here. I'm going to zoom in as close as I can. I'm going to have my cursor. Now, these are all cattle. These are all feedlot cattle here. Now, I'm going to play and I'm going to pause it as we go, because I kind of pan slow. I'm on a tripod here. I'm going to pause it right here. These are the tops of the trees that are about 1.5 miles straight south of us. These are all the calves on the north edge of that feedlot, and those calves right there are 0.5 mile away, all the way along there. All those black. This is black hot. These tires, this gate, all of this stuff here, 75 yards in front of us. You could not see this with the flashlight. You can see that fog here where it's just super heavy in the bottom, but it is really foggy, and with the light, we had lights. After we'd made this set, we turned them on, and you could not see 50 yards. Oh, I don't think that I have it here, but I might. Yeah, I do, right here. This is cool as shit. Check this out. So these are where the coyotes came from. Those are 2 coyotes right there. It's about 300 yards away. Maybe 400. We never did range it, but this is where they all came from. We had them come downwind. They came right up to us, and that I dropped my RH25. And sorry guys, a lot of guys just ask if I have allergies, and I don't, but I talk to a lot of guys during the day. Today I talked a lot. Just got a phone with a fella for an hour. Before him, I talked to another fella for a half an hour. Before that, I was talking to a guy that came in and picked up the thermal from me for an hour. So I just get war. But those are 2 coyotes right there, right where my cursor is, that little black dot. All right, now let's close out of here. and I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be, this is just going to be cool. Check this out. You guys will get kicked out of this shit. Look at this. Andrew Tate, Blackstone Media, Andrew Tate. Yeah, look at this shit. Kill box going hot, literally. Look at that. We get a triple here, a synced up triple here, and you can hear me on audio go, stampede of coyotes. This coyote is the coolest shit ever. This is the second time I've seen a coyote like this. I'll try to get close on him. See how his hair looks like it's tiger striped? Look at that. We got a lot of footage of him, but what that is, see how those big knots, how there's legit stripes, and it's not stripes, that's the gaps between his fur. That coyote right there had mange, and he healed from it. I shot one just like him about 15 years ago, probably about a mile from this spot on foot, and I was self-filming, and no, I'm not zoomed in, dude. That's a 75. I'm not zoomed in. That's how it is. And so that coyote had, you see those lines in his fur, how I'll try to get a better, I don't want to show you guys the kill shot on this one. I'll show you on the other one. I got to save something. But see those big gaps in his fur. What happened was he got mange and he healed from it. Super thick woolly. There you could see a perfect picture of it right there. Super thick and woolly, but his skin was, it was almost like a sheep's wool, if I could explain it. And what the fur buyer told me is that he dealt with it. He itched, he scratched, he had a lot of inflation under the skin, and that is what caused it. Anyway, he healed from it, and he didn't die from the mange. He died from us, but he was a big ass coyote. This is something to note, something pretty cool. I don't think I say this in the video, but look at that, dude. This is just, when we shoot them, it is crazy how many coyotes go running off here. I think I counted 15 total, but look at that footage, man. You just don't see that. You just do not see that. And we're super selective. Now, I am going to show you guys this. Now, that fog passed, and I haven't nuked this thermal yet. I'll try to get close. You can kind of see the grains. It's almost like it's like it's a picture that has been really too over sharpened. But when I nuke it, it gets clear. But here's the west portion of his close feedlot. This is his far feedlot, about a mile and a half back there. There's a couple thousand head all the way back up here. You guys can't see my cursor. But those coyotes that were over here on that knob in that fog kind of swept through. Still shitty, still foggy, but that RS-75 hammers, it's unreal, like nothing out there. Here they come. They come up in here, and I'll nuke it here. You'll see it. Boom, nuked it. Way better. Such a smoother picture. But look, you can see these trees way back here. Those are like 5 miles over there. This pivot's a mile. Oh, there's still coyotes sleeping over there on that hill. Let's see here. I'm going to show you guys what happens. It's going to be, you guys are going to see it here first. You're not going to get the storyline of the actual video, but you are going to get it, the kill shot here in a brief explanation. I'm on the coyote. I'm in this position. We're kind of in trouble because our shooting position from the distance here, this is 75 yards. So I'm here, Keith's here, John's here. We're not perpendicular. We're not full value to those coyotes. We're at a diagonal like this. So Keith's, I'm shooting this way. Keith's essentially shooting almost right beside my ear. John's almost shooting beside Keith's here. So Keith being in the middle, he had to count. And my major concern was this coyote right here, because he's got a hole dug underneath this calf. And all I could get was the top of his head every once in a while. I'm like, gosh dang, it's going to be a tough one. And they're just so erratic, man. Coyotes move all the time. They never hold still. There's always shit dominant going on, chasing them out. And so I'm concerned with this one, trying to make a shot here. And when he goes back, you can see these other ones are out of my visual. They're gone. I'm not looking at him. Keith's on this one. John should be on this one. Keith's like, no, take all the right ones. Let's go to the right. Then he counted down. Boom. Freaking smash. Now, we don't, anybody else, I'm telling you, and I'm not faulting you, all right? But in a situation like this, I know 90% of guys are going to be like, why the fuck aren't you doing a mag dump on that one that's running, right? We could have been boom, 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 smoking. But watch what happens here. Sometimes you just got to chill, freaking handle your adrenaline and deal with it. Most guys in an AR situation be fucking running a mag dump, burning their can up, sending rounds fucking buzzing down into them feedlots. I digitally magnify, I run my bolt, okay? And I'm like, if he stops, he stops. If he doesn't, it is what it is. He'll come back. So in the meantime, when I know he's going to appear somewhere, I digitally magnify the optic. I just go boom, boom, step up, step up. And he's going to give me an opportunity. Done. Okay? That right there was right at 250. We're going to go range it. I think it was a little bit further. There's a section line right there. And we smashed 4 right there in, super quick, super efficient. That's what we want. Surgical style shit. We were going back to the pickup, and here comes another one. He came back in, and he actually comes up all hunched up, aggressive as shit, starts messing with this coyote. And I tell Keith, I told Keith, I'm like, he's sitting there recording, and John's recording, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And I'm like, let's just see what he does. And when I said, let's see what he does, he heard me say that. And you don't take it. I really wanted to record a little bit, and because it almost looked like he was going to start like chewing on that coyote and start pulling on him and shit. But as soon as he got over the top of that coyote, I smashed him, and we had 5 dead within, it wasn't very long. And I'm not bragging, but in this situation, we needed these coyotes dead. The rancher is super, he's having a lot of, he wants us to kill coyotes. He's a super nice guy, phenomenal dude to deal with, not a gun guy, and we do a lot of work for him, and I love the shit out of it. And that's what good neighbors being all about. But this is like the 12th, well, maybe now the 15th coyote that we've killed for him over there. And there's more, there's a lot more, but awesome set. I'm gonna put this together for you guys. Maybe I'll show you just a little bit of the A7S3 so you have an idea. I'm not doing a crazy amount of editing on it. This is kind of what it'll look like. So this is the A7S3. John's got a little bit of artificial light going hot here. But you can see the stars back there. I just have the ISO ripped up. And that's kind of this is us talking the breakdown. It should be pretty good. And then we're going to start it out where we're just cruising. You guys can kind of see the fog here. We're rolling through fog. Nothing super crazy, but anyway, we do a little bit of an intro. I run through a couple, just how we parked in the shop, walked out, set our stuff up. I got to mess with the exposure a little bit here, but I got it pretty much whipped up, and just wanted to kind of entertain you guys with what's going to be new. I'm going to wake up early and do my thing, but we'll go live for a little bit here. I'm going to get my camera tripod set up so I can scroll through some of the comments. I don't know how I'm going to start, fellas, because last time was kind of a shit show. Footage, because I appreciate the shit out of it. That's something that you just don't really ever see with, on the same screen. A lot of guys will get it, but they'll look like black guys. I'm just gonna scatter through some of these comments. Do some caliber bullet hole, do small caliber bullet holes truly affect pelt? And if so, do headshots negate that loss? Absolutely. But on a year like this, guys, I'm really concerned with the fur value, because I like to use what they have to offer. I like seeing the fur being used, not because I'm an environmentalist or an animal rights guy. That's just how I operate. I like seeing the animal taken for what it has to offer. In a lot of instances, we do go in for damage control because we're doing the neighbor a favor. We're doing the animals that he raises for his livelihood a favor. We're doing a lot of game animals that people hunt for food and for fun a favor. But at the same time, I like to utilize what we kill. And when people on the top end don't understand, don't appreciate, and we don't get to see the rewards of what we kill actually in the marketplace, it's ridiculous. It's stupid as shit, if you ask me. Smaller caliber bullet holes truly affect pelt value, dude. The more you blow the shit out of a pelt, the more that you have to skin, the more damage is done in headshots. Either, you see trappers. When I trapped, my weapon of choice was a little integrally suppressed 22 rimfire. Take it in, boom, one little round to the head, quiet, nothing in the area hurt it, and minimal to no damage. So, gosh dang, man. Yeah, that's cool. That coyote fur was cool. The fur it didn't necessarily grow back in a different direction. A lot of it's scar tissue from just constant scratching. And what it's like, just like wool, like just watered up wool, and it's gapped, and it's cool. I mean, it's always impressive for me to see an animal that can beat that, and most of them don't. Most of them die the most horrid, freaking wretched death that you can have. They freeze to death, and I've snuck up on them in a cabin shed before, and they run out and they can't even see because their eyes are so pussed up full of shit. And it's just a sad deal, man. Just a wicked death. All right, guys. I'm just let's stop. All right, I'm gonna scroll the bottom. Start. Let's just go that. Mic down. Mic. Muffled mic, dude. You can't hear it. Sorry, fellas. There. Is that better? My bad, dudes. I should have went down the bottom. Yeah. Is that better? Is okay. Better. Okay, cool. Yeah, my stupid OtterBox. All right, cool. Not how many of you guys I wonder if I could do a poll on this. How many of you guys are here from Facebook? Or I should say, how many of you guys are here that tune into the Facebook or the Instagram? Just type in below, if you would, IG and FB, or just IG or just FB. I'm just curious as to how many of you guys are around here that are here that tune into both, that would pay attention to both, just out of pure curiosity, if this is a whole nother group of fellas or if it's different. Oh man, yeah, that night too was cold. It was 0, 1 below at a spot. You guys were on that shit with the mic deal. Do you thermal, dude? Do you prefer thermal or NVGs? Thermal. For hunting, dude, you can't beat thermal. I don't care who you are. If you say night vision, you don't know what you're doing for hunting, for killing. What video? Where did you get that howl from in the last video? If it was Keith's double, it was the howls from the coyotes that I recorded. And I mean, on that set, those coyotes were the howl. The howl literally was coyotes when I was filming at the same time. There's no overlay. That's just what I recorded. I have a question. About bait piles, Cody says, I have a question about bait piles. Every so often, I lose a calf and have a down cow, and would it be wise to keep all the dead livestock in one pile or place them in different places, in different spots? Spread them out. Spread them out, man. You're literally putting all your ducks in one pond if you keep them in one spot. If you put numerous ducks in different ponds, you're gonna be able to kill more ducks, right? And the way that I look at it is, you have, and it's just it's the truth, right? We have at one time we'll have, we don't really want to have more than four bait piles because it just gets too tedious. It's just it's not worth the investment that we're putting into it. The time setting them up, the time revolving, going to each set. When we're just as efficient on two or three kill boxes, when you get to four or five, it turns into a lot of tedious stuff. In my opinion, in our location, but if you put up three bait piles, and what I would recommend is at least one of them adjusted accordingly for a completely different wind. So that if you have two kill boxes set up for like a predominant northwest wind, you set one up for like an easterly wind, because there's a lot of times where most of our bait piles are set up and we're expecting the wind to be out of the northwest, but at night it's a light variable, and for some damn reason it's coming out of the east. We can't access the kill boxes that we have set up, so we put it off and go another night. That's what I would recommend. Put up a couple kill boxes in strategic locations that you can access them in completely different winds, so that you have the opportunity to go if the wind isn't in your favor. You're gonna pull in kites from different locations. Distances doesn't matter. You could put them a mile apart. You could put them 5 miles apart. We've got stuff 20 miles apart in certain instances. If that answers your question. This message is held for review. Jeff Wells, F yeah. So I'm gonna show it. Thanks, dude. Another moderator just handled this. I don't have another moderator on here, so I don't know what the deal is. We've killed two. Yeah, I've done many a favor due to mange. It's yeah, you're not getting that fixed. I mean, same thing. We shoot a lot of coyotes with it. Kyle Harth, how many yotes y'all kill a year off kill box setups? A lot. I would say, all right, you guys, I'm getting the questions here from YouTube. We're asked if you guys are just on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, put what you would listen to us live on. If it's just strictly YouTube, put YT. If it's Instagram, put IG. If it's Facebook, put FB. And we only have like 50 people on here because it's so late. I know. I just, it's cool to do this and hit different platforms. Like I said, New Year's resolution, this is going to be the norm. How many coyotes do you kill a year off the kill box? We'll kill over 50 coyotes at our first kill box this year, just over 50 on that one. I mean, we've already killed 20 there and we haven't even started. We haven't even scratched the surface. Um, each one is different. There's been one year, and I think what I'll probably do is I'm going to do a story on this, because I was just talking to a fella tonight about thermal, and I told him it was a really weird year. I'll just tell it to you right now. 50, we had it. It was crazy. Um, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on that story, just because it goes in line with the crazy shit that we've been witnessing over the past couple of years. YouTube notification that, yeah, went live. Book face. All right. YouTube only. Geez, Instagram and YouTube. I always from Facebook showed. Okay, cool. YouTube, Instagram, YouTube, Insta, just Instagram, IG, some YouTube, but no. Okay, YouTube and podcast. Screw YouTube only. YouTube notification, Instagram. So mostly a lot of guys. I mean, it's kind of mixed, but a lot of different, a lot of YouTube, more than I was thinking, to be honest. So that's interesting. Thank you for answering my questions. Do you think Howell makes quality? Dude, uh, I'm not gonna badmouth. I don't like savages. Okay, I don't like Savage rifles. I don't know why. I haven't I own a 22 that's a Savage. Howa, I got a couple Howas, guys into Howas that bought them because I'm a retailer. I've bore scoped them. I've seen some weird tooling marks on them. It doesn't affect the accuracy. I mean, you can't go by that. Just some weird stuff going on. But man, it all depends on what you can afford. It all depends on what you can afford. I'm not gonna say they don't make a quality rifle. I used to the Remington 700s back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, where it was at. The quality was awesome. Now it's just everybody cheapens their shit up, which I believe is why 15 years ago a custom rifle was the pinnacle, which it is now. It's a top tier piece of equipment that a guy can own. But at the time, 15 years ago, there was one custom rifle in every 10,000 factory rifles that guys would own. If you did a ratio, give or take, you just didn't see custom rifles. Now shit, we're putting custom rifles together. It's just crazy. So it depends on what you can afford, man. I don't think it's a quality rifle. I think it's a very good choice for a factory rifle. I got to start cheap on a night setup. I think I'm gonna grab a Sightmark Wraith thermal or just way out of my. That's fine, dude. I mean, it likes attract likes. If you want it bad enough, you will get it. If you want, you'll find a way, you'll make a way. If you need or want thermal bad enough, there will be a way that you'll be able to get what you want. Until then, use what you can. From the X-Wave, I was hoping downloaded. I thought that which video was it, Kyle? Just reply on here. I'll go down from here. What video was it? Was it the we'll teach you to call coyotes dementia, that one? If it was that one, it was the coyotes howling in the video. It was not my call. It was literally the coyotes going. And I'll look at it. I'll pull that audio. I don't care. I'll pull that audio and give it to guys. I don't have a problem with that. Pull that audio, edit it in Adobe Audition, increase the audio, and freaking clean it up and whatever. I don't know how to mass sell it, or I won't even sell it. I don't even know how to mass get it out there, but I will, without taking up a lot of my time. NVG can't see through bush very good either. Yeah, I mean, the general rule of thumb, and a lot of guys said this, is night vision is good for ID. Thermal is good for detection. And that's right. That's true. But there's just certain things that each technology, even though they're both IR, they both see on different wavelengths. One of them has different, one can do better. They just do different things. So the way that I use them is I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to even go on that because we'll go over that with the helmet setup. There's a lot of guys that said that I was just talking with the fella today on thermal and stuff, and he's like, well, I was explaining to the dude about thermal and night vision, and there was a lot of guys that were kind of giving us backlash saying you can't now, you guys are going to get people hurt, you're going to get people in trouble trying to navigate at night with thermal. And I'm like, dude, we do it all the time. Just because you don't doesn't mean that it can't be done. You just got to be smart about it. But we use both of them, obviously. I mean, we'll be doing that helmet mounted thermal night vision setup that we've got. You were going to say something about the RH25, looking at rigging a helmet, wondering what the RH25 performance compared to a 50 millimeter on the same power. Just two different applications. So with a smaller germanium lens, you have less magnification, which is what you want for navigation and for scanning. You want less mag, wider field of view. When shit hits the fan real close, you want to have as wide of a peripheral as you can get, right? So you think about it, you call in coyotes, you have 4 or 5 of them coming in hot and they're not slowing down. You get them to stop or you don't get them to stop and you shoot one. Just strictly having your eye welded to the weapon sight, you might have a 10-degree field of view with a 3x base mag where you drop your G24 down with your RH25, your Rico Micro down, and you've just went from 10-degree field of view to 20-degree field of view at a 1x. It's twice as easy to get on the coyote with the wider field of view, see what's going on. You can literally read the animal, see what they're going to do. A lot of times the coyote will kind of do a couple slow lopes before they stop, pop that bitch up, you're already on the rifle, done. There's been so many instances I can't count that that exact scenario has happened. And then over kill baits too. I mean, kill piles. The first thing I do is I've got my RH25 down, and it's the first thing over the bale, just turkey necking over the bale with the RH25. Look, see what's going on. We get up, got the rifle here, got the RH25 over my eye. You just reach up, G24, hold the button in so that it doesn't go ping, and they all look at you, and then release it, and you're in the rifle. There's so many things that we can talk to you about helmets. AGM, yeah, that's right. AGM makes decent introductory thermals for the price, 100%. You get what you pay for. Thermal is not a cheap technology. There's a point of, I don't know if I should say that. There's not a point, I don't think there's a point of diminished returns with thermals. You get to the point of the better performing equipment, and you just get better returns for it. I don't even know why I was going to say that. A point of diminished returns. There's a point where you might not be able to justify the piece of equipment that you're using, but if you're going to spend $3,000 on a thermal, I would highly suggest saving for a year and spend $4,000 to $5,000 next year on a good thermal. You'll be trust me, you'll be better off. Exactly, dude. Keep saving and buy a thermal instead of the YouTube. Awesome, guys. Awesome feedback, YouTube. If you're on Instagram, follow ONEILLOPS on Instagram, all lowercase, ONEILLOPS. Same thing for Snapchat. ONEILLOPS on Snapchat. Once in a while we'll get crazy on there. I mean, I don't post on Snapchat nearly as much. That's more for like I don't even know. I'll engage certain people once in a while on Snapchat. Facebook or YouTube, but not set up for the notifications. Yep, I know what you mean, Wade. Can get some more podcasts after. Yes, before, dude, before calving. I just have to do podcasts, dude. Period. I'm kind of dragging, fellas. I don't even know why. Didn't even do it. Well, actually, I do. John and I walked in a mile and a half and made a set this afternoon, and it was a freaking botched ass set. Sucks. Oh, it wasn't botched, but it kind of was botched. This is a highly successful location that we were going into. Parked the pickup, walked in right. Wind was right. Snow wasn't crunchy. We get down into our spot because John called it. He wanted to go into this spot. And usually when John calls a spot, we have a pretty good success rate because he likes spots that we might not necessarily like. So we'll hit him up once every so often. And we get down, and the only thing I'm thinking, and I'm like, I don't know about that spot. And I was like, why not? I'm like, we got a lot of rain, dude. There's going to be a shit show with overgrowth there. The trees are getting bigger. It's a side slope, and we'd set up on top of the side slope with some cedars around it. And there's a bunch of like willow growth and just native grass down there, and a bunch of trees down below that were smaller and they're growing. We get to our spot where we usually set up, and everything's grown 2 feet. We have no visual perspective outside, so we have to go down right where we're going to set the call and walk along the edge of a river and make a set completely where it's a better spot, but we exposed ourselves for too long. We get into a set, and we rip a howl off. Coyote just starts barking at us, just the bark that you're not going to call him in. And so I'm assuming that he probably was just sitting in the cover of the trees, and we couldn't see him, and he was just watching us. We walked all the way back out with the load on and then lifted. And so I'm just, nothing crazy, but savage. Yeah, Savage Guns. I'm not gonna really complain. I don't know too much about them. I know a lot of guys think that they're accurate, but to each his own. I'm just not one of those guys. I was gonna use a 30-30 for coyotes. Dude, that's like, I mean, I shot a coyote with a 30-30 with my grandpa, lever action open sight, and Never shot it again. I don't think it's a very, I mean, for an introductory deer rifle, sure. I wouldn't choose that for coyotes. How much are you selling your custom rifles for? Lower and budget? They're going to be right around 4, which is pretty damn good. I mean, considering the initial rifles that we had. I'll show you one right here. I'll pull it up, see if we get pinged. The initial rifles that we had, you know, like Gunworks, Chad at LRI, man, you're talking 7,000 plus for him to do the shit. We never saw freaking kickback. I mean, it doesn't make sense to. They're phenomenal dudes, phenomenal guys. I have nothing against them, but guys got to do it. What a guy's got to do, you know, when you're exposing somebody's rifle over and over and over, and you don't get anything in return, you have to go. You. I had a guy tell me a long time ago. He said, "Dude, keep doing what you're doing. One morning you're gonna wake up with a sore asshole." And I'll tell you what, he was right. That's what happens. So figure it out early on. But at the same time, my mindset going in was we didn't have a following. We were just getting started. But you have to go in it with a positive attitude. I mean, just because we didn't have a following doesn't mean that we weren't going to have a following. Nobody knows where things are going. And you can have the most positive outlook as all get out and have some shit hit the fan and not happen. But regardless, structure your ventures accordingly. Structure your future accordingly. If I would have had any idea, knowing how ambitious I was at doing what I wanted to do, I would have put something in play. I would have said, "Hey Chad, here's the deal. We're gonna do a rifle. When we get a 1,000,000 hit video using your rifle, I'm gonna get $500 on each sale." And it would have been at least a discussion where he'd like, "All right, when the time comes and you have that video, there you go." Well, we've had multiple videos like that, and what is it? Nothing. Nothing. Freaking still using the same old gun and sending fucking 200 guys to him. So the rifles that we're doing are gonna support us. We're gonna take the time to do them. I don't machine, I'm not machining them. Don't have the time to freaking buy a machine and do that shit. I'm having a guy pre-fit the barrels. They're all gonna be barrels of our selection regarding everything: length, contour, twist rate. The rifles are a select color. They're all going to be chambered in the same cartridge. We can adjust some features, but most of them are going to have all the features for that price point. And I'll kind of show you guys one of those guns before we're done here. Another thing that we are going to have is the opportunity, or I should say the option, for optimized load development. What that means is we can take your rifle and we can work up a select load with a select bullet that is optimized for that system. What is going to shoot best in that rifle? Where if you buy a rifle and it's just factory ammo that you shoot through it, you're limited to the performance of that ammo. Well, we can take the rifle that we put together here and develop a load and then give you all the information on that load: the case overall length, the powder charge, the jump from the ogive to the lands, the bullet selection, the velocity, all of that, so that even if you don't reload, you still have that data. If you eventually reload, or you know somebody that does reload, they can fabricate the rounds based on our data. Or even if you don't have anybody reload and you don't know of anybody that can, you can still search for factory ammo that meets the criteria that we've written down, so that you're going to get at least something better than not that performs out of that rifle. We're also going to offer dope, which is data on previous engagement, where we can run the trajectory. We can give you the hold based on mils or MOA or whatever, at whatever distances you want. I don't think a guy needs to go every 50-yard increments, but from 100 to 400 yards, we'd go every 100 yards, depending on the bullet weight. We'd probably go 50. We'd go 50-yard increments, just so once you get out past 200, there might be some splits you have to make. And then depending on what bullet selection it is, we may go out to 500 or 600 yards. So that's going to be an additional option for both of those, optimized load development and dope. We're going to be like probably $500 somewhere in there. Yep, I do. Wait, navigate with thermal walking. I do all the time. Every single night, I navigate with thermal. And people that say that you can't do it, you can, because we do. I've navigated with thermal on a snowmobile. I've navigated with thermal on my Erzberg rodeo. I've navigated with thermal on a four-wheeler on a little Honda, um, checking cows in pitch black, navigating and scanning. And it's is it optimal? Maybe not, but does it work? Absolutely. I called one in today, south of Chamberlain. Caller died it when he was at 500. That sucks, dude. That sucks, dude. Have you ever heard of ATN? Oh, I'm going to tell you guys something. If you guys go to my channel, there is a ATN video that I did. It had to be, gosh dang, 8 years ago, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. ATN had a good product when we were using their stuff. And I've had a couple guys call us out and say, well, you guys are bashing them or this or that, and look what you use ATN. We used ATN. When the head engineer left ATN, he started up a company called IRD, IR Defense, who is now Trijicon. When he left there, you could see what was going on. At the time of our using them, we were running what was called the Thor 100, right? It had I don't think it was 100, but it was like a 75 millimeter, 90 millimeter germanium. At the time, it was a $10,000 thermal. And once again, at the time, it was probably the best that we could get our hands on. And what happened was you could see what the company did within a year or two. They offered a thermal scope with 30 different options at a fraction of the price. There's a certain point in time when you look at technology, thermal, whatever, I can understand after it's been advanced after a decade, but after the head engineer, the most ingenuitive fella that's running or moving your business forward, leaves, starts up another company that's better, and then a company as big as Trijicon buys them out because of that, and then you start offering a product that's a quarter of the price with more options, fucking bullshit flag goes right out the window, man. That for me. So I've heard of them. I know who they are. That's what I think of them. This is honest. When we left, when we did the video that we agreed to do with them, their scopes were good. And the next year, the same fella, a different fella, the fella that I was my point of contact left, went to Surefire. So I can't even remember where he went. It's a shit show at that point. The other guy called and said, hey, dude, we're coming out with a brand new scope. It's called the ATNX site. Can you do what you did for us with the thermal? And I didn't even reply. I'm like, no, I'm not even going to waste my train of thought on that. I learned that the cutting edge thermal is old school a year later, just like computers and other electronics. And yes, you get what you pay for. My base power thermal is 1.75. In my picture-in-picture, I usually keep around 7 to 10 power, depending on distance. Coyote barking is like a deer blowing at you. Yes, more podcasts about rifle setups or anything from you guys. Okay, cool, dude. We'll do it. Yeah, we don't have very many Red Fox around here. I've shot a couple of them, but there's in my location there's none. I've got to go about 15 miles away to get into the potentially hunting a red fox. $4K, okay, yep, very reasonable. It is reasonable, dude. I mean, you're getting quality components. You're getting the top, every option in the gray bow. You're getting the Bighorn Arms Origin Action. You're getting the pre-fit carbon 6 barrel with the twist rate. You're getting the R custom camouflage pattern on the stock. You're getting M5 bottom metal, ARCA, pick rail at the fore end, adjustable cheek weld on certain stocks, flush cups. Yeah, I mean it's a very competitive. I mean, we're not out there to try to fucking rob you, But at the same time, if we're going to be putting these together and offering them, and I'm going to be doing my time using my FFL to log them in, log them out, I'm going to earn some money on it. I'm not going to make, I'm going to earn it. So you have to look at it that way. And we love and we want to get you guys into what we use, because with what we use, I trust it. It's going to work. We don't just cobble some random shit together and then throw it at you and say, hey, dude, buy it. It's meticulous, man. We use the stuff a lot. Like these guns, we put rounds down them before we just went hunting with them. We made sure they were going to shoot. We made sure they were going to do it. We made sure that they were comfortable. They were going to fit our style and how we do things before we even considered doing this. Thanks for anytime, Robert. Anytime is the only pro for 22 Creed versus 20 the modern case design. Well, no and yes. I don't have one. I was gonna. I thought I had one here, but I don't. I was gonna look at that 22. Give you guys pull up a 22 Creed. The modern. So if you look at it, is the only difference. It's not the only difference, because if you go into details about the case design is what makes it. It gives it the ability to do what it does. So, what I'm saying is the 22 Creed has a different shoulder taper. It has more case capacity. So if you take those two things with the modern case design, in theory, what it should do is with its shoulder taper, it should have less neck stretch with more firings, and it has more case capacity, which should give it the ability to put more powder in it and have higher velocity with your bullet selection. So even though it's a modern case design, which I mean, it's really not a modern case design, because if you look at a 2250 Ackley, that's not a modern case design, but it's a similar design to the 22 Creed. Shoulders blown out, a little more case capacity. The pro is it's got more case capacity generally, and then therefore you can push the projectile faster. How long would you guys say you sit out there on average a night? It just depends on the night. Dude, it's different. So what's really cool, a really cool story, is the efficiency, how much more efficient we have got at the night game. Man, the first thermal that I had, I put on miles. It was the craziest shit ever. You think you have a whole new superpower. I had my rifle, the Thor. I would put it in my pack. I would go, and I would go solo. I would freaking park and walk miles and just get to a vantage point and scan and call. And I don't even understand how many coyotes I probably messed up by not having the options that we have right now. And what I'm getting at is we went from a weapon sight to a weapon sight and a scanner, a weapon sight, a scanner, a weapon sight, hands-free nav. And then we even got more efficient. So we were spending hours each night walking into kill boxes with our helmets blindly. When I mean blind, not knowing what was on the other side of the kill box. So we have bales, that's a buffer zone, so that we walk in, it masks our sound, it masks our visual to the coyote. There's a barrier there. It's a buffer zone that does more than one thing. So we walk in and we get up on the bait, and it was like opening a Christmas present. Is there a coyote over it or is there not? If there's a coyote there, there's a treat. Awesome. But if there's not, then what do we do? We're going to walk all the way back to the pickup, or we're going to sit and wait. Most of the time, we'd walk all the way back to the pickup and we'd go ahead and put on their bait pile the same way. We would spend so much time walking in, doing whatever we do, walk back. Just the advancements from having the weapon sight to the weapon sight and hands-free navigation to then strategically placing the bait piles in a location where we could see them from a mile away or a half of a mile away, that wouldn't spook the coyotes, but we would at least know if there's one there and not have to commit ourselves if we didn't need to advancing to this, where we put a cell camera over the bait piles. Now I can just like my phone's pinging at me right now that there's coyotes on killbox 1. So we didn't have to exert that energy. We didn't have to exert that time, those resources before we went out. It's just it's an art, it's a science that we've become so efficient at. It's saved so much time. In the beginning, man, dude, we were pulling it. I was driving by my house corner because my brain was so whacked and dysfunctional from spending so much time out in the dark and so tired. Just crazy. And and it was all because we were just it was the technology was so new, it was so nuts, it was so um there was an infatuation with it, which there still is. But what I'm getting is we've become so efficient, and it's not bragging, it's just a story here. We become so efficient that it has cut our time in half and increased our kills exponentially. So there's so many things that you can do to be more efficient with your time. And it wasn't fun out there doing that all the absolutely, and we still will do it. But why exert that I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's one of those things that's from when we started doing it, where it was 5, 6 hours a night, to now it might be 3 hours a night. Our kill ratio is freaking twice what it used to be. Love the videos, keep them coming. Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's true. If you have a lot of coyotes, absolutely, they kill them, dude. If you have a lot of coyotes, that's why there's no red fox here. They have no chance. There's not cover. A lot of times you see red foxes, in spots where there's not coyotes, even kind of by little. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say, I don't know enough about red foxes, but yeah, there's too many coyotes out here. They just kill the shit out of them. Do you have any videos on YouTube on night vision? No, I don't, man. I don't. Plans are to have that done. Any tips or videos to suggest for a beginner night hunter? Um, uh, there's a lot, dude. I'm just trying to think if I want to take the time and do that right now or just wait till we have like uh, a a video on it. I think I'm gonna do a video on it instead and just kind of give you guys a rundown on how we do it. It's not rocket science, but I mean, we could definitely help you out depending on what you wanted to do. If you're looking at bait piles or calling, you get away with a lot more at night just because you do. In a way, coyotes, they let their guard down at night. It's their time. That's the time they're content. That's the time they're hunting. That's the time they're active. But you mess it up at night, you're freaking done. You ain't gonna get them ever. You're not gonna get them again. So you want to be real meticulous. You just don't want to take advantage of it. But there's things. I mean, you apply the same principles as a day set as you do a night set. Wind in your face, elevation. You can F yourself real quick at night, dude. That's why we have, dude. The first thing we do, like for a night set when we're doing thermals, helmet on, thermal down. I like get down push up position, and I'm looking both ways, because if there's any contour in front of you that is gonna break the visual sight from you to that coyote, you're screwed. They'll screw you every damn time. They'll hit that and they'll circle and you won't see them again. So you got to be in a spot where you can set up. And each night's different with the ambient light source I should say the ambient lighting. If it's bright, if it's dark, usually darker with a little bit of a breeze is the best because you can get by with a lot more. But apply the same principles at night that you use during the day. Wind and just similar kind of a set. Which I could go into a lot more, but I just, like I said, I'm going to try to get to a few of these and we can go into a better video on that, like walking you through it in the field. I recently purchased a Sony A7 IV. Can you talk briefly about what lens you use in your camera equipment? So I use the A7S III. I'm not a Sony guy. I have a Sony A7S III, I have a Canon R5, and then I have a Canon XF705. The 705 is what I call my kill camera because of the zoom range. You can have a shooter right beside you, zoom all the way out and get them all the way in. It just gives you a better visual perspective of what's going on. You use a DSLR, and basically in order to get the same magnification that I get with my kill camera, you have to buy like a 600 or 700 millimeter lens, and then by the time you zoom that out, your shooter's gonna have to be 20 yards in front of you for you to get that. So there's two different applications for those cameras. I have filmed hunts with my R5 in a 70 to 200, but there's a performance gap there in what it can do and what it can't do. I run a Sony. I have two lenses on my I have two lenses on my A7S3, and my A7S3 is going to be different than your 4, dude. The reason I have the A7S3 is because you can crank the ISO up on that and get by with a lot at night. Like you'll see in this YouTube video I'm doing, there's no artificial light other than when John's shining his little Surefire around. Then you can pull lighting, crank the ISO. You're going to introduce a lot of noise, but I don't care. It's giving you a better visual than I'm seeing at night, and you can still see what's going on. You still get the perception. But I have a 70 to 200 G Master f2.8. That's a badass lens for anything that has that kind of an aperture in that kind of a millimeter is going to give you a super shallow depth of field and let a lot of light in for low light shots. That's what I'm after for this platform. And then I also have the 17 to 28 millimeter f2.8, which this is what I used for the interview on the last video. I didn't use it to the 200 or anything. And this is all for all the shots, pickup shots and hero shots, whatever. But this is a vlogging lens. So I can turn this and be this close and it'll autofocus on and get everything. So I kind of got this for a vlog, which I never use. But those are the only two lenses that I have for my A7S III. And then I do have a couple lenses for my R5, but we can go into that later. I love your YouTube and Instagram Live. When do you guys sleep? Dude, I get enough sleep, man. Trust me. Yeah, I need to work on my morning skills a little bit better. Wake up a little bit more. Chris Robinson come up. Didn't Chris Robinson come up hunt with you guys before? He was the guy that sold me on buying the IRA Alpha thermoscope. Yeah, Chris is a good friend. Chris got a hold of me probably 12 years ago because of one of the YouTube videos that he saw me put out. And he's like, I like how this guy edits. I like what he does. And we hit it off. And at the time he was filming for Carnivore, Gary Robertson's Carnivore. He was working with Shed Whitaker. He's like third up on the Mossy Oak totem pole. He got a hold of me. They came out. That's when I have that content that needs to be seen. I don't know what the hell I've been doing, but we killed like 10 singles, a double, a triple, a quad. And at the very end, the last day they had to go fly back, we killed a quint, all with 2 HD cameras going. All that shit is documented. I have it all on a hard drive and I need to post it. What my goal was to create a storyline and kind of narrate it or even vlog it. But it's one of those things where I said, you just have to get the content out there. I overthink content and I got it. It's just some stuff that people need to see. So yeah, Chris is a good dude. And then he has also been out numerous times. He's done 2 shows on the night crew about our team. Chris is for videography, Nat Geo level. Chris gets shit that people on the Nat Geo channel get for wildlife content. That's what Chris gets. Love the content. Thanks, dude. Need more of it, though. Need more of it. I know I do. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Brad, thank you, sir, dude. Cam Riches, what other things do you hunt? Everything, dude. We hunt. I get elk license every year, but I don't kill one every year. I haven't shot an elk for probably 5 or 6 years, 7 years, and I've had to like tag a couple times since then. I haven't shot a deer for probably 6 years, 7 years. And we get elk, deer, antelope, grouse, pheasant. My kids get mentor tags. I take them out, and just it's not really as big of a thing for, I would say, my family to go out and hunt, because it's like this. If you own a Lamborghini and you drive it every single day, eventually you're gonna be like, it's a fucking Lamborghini. I'm driving it every day. Wow. where if you never see a Lamborghini before and you get a chance to drive it, you're like, holy shit, dude, I'm driving a Lamborghini. It's the same thing for us. We get a hunt, we get a shoot, we get to do this every single day. We don't take it for granted. We take every advantage we can, but it's not like, oh my gosh, man, holy shit, you get to do this, this, and this. We do. We're very blessed and very privileged. And what I want to do is film it and show you guys all this stuff, which is why we're going to do coyote camp. We're going to do coyote camp next week with the tent, with thing. We're going to freaking pack up all with the, it's a stove that we got the bags. We got all this, everything that we need to make it happen. We're going to go out and we're going to camp for a couple nights, and we're just going to pack all of our camera shit, film it as we go, and camp out 10 miles from here, whatever, and smash some coyotes and film it. Just straight up out in the middle of nowhere. Might have my laptop charged, download the content there, get on a spot where we have some data where we can charge the solar with our phones with the solar panels, and go live with you guys while we're doing that shit. Maybe a couple different times. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it for 3 nights. We'll go IG live one night, Facebook live one night, YouTube live one night. Keep you guys posted on it. The ELDVTs are nasty. They're very good. Got a big message from fellows on Predator Masters, a couple guys on that. And they asked, so we know you like the 50 grains. Is it going to be basically this, are you guys going to not shoot those anymore? And I'm like, if they continue to perform as they are, 100%. If they continue to perform how they are. So basically, I ran the math. With a 50 grain VMAX going 3,500 feet per second out of our 2250s, out of these right here, out of these guys, that's an 18-inch. These are our rifles, the customs that we're going to be putting together. Okay. You have a 2250 like this, exactly like this, shooting 50 grain VMAXs. We're chronoing them going 3,500 with that barrel. With the 62 grainers, we're chronoing them, and they're going 3,400 with that barrel. And the difference is, even though the 62s are 100 feet per second slower, since they have 8, 12 more grains of mass behind them in a different bullet design, they are creating 300 more foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. And they're going to exceed what the 250 does. They're I'm not going to say they're a 50 grain VMAX killer, but we will cease to use the 50 grain VMAX if these continue to perform throughout the end of the season. We'll have a very good idea on what they're doing. Not a whole lot of fur damage, and just thumping the shit out of them with awesome ballistic performance. Oh, can you guys do a video on helmet mounted thermals? Absolutely. You weren't here the last time, and I talked to a couple guys. Then that's in the books. That's 100%, dude. This guy is getting scrutinized to the fullest. We're gonna freaking break this thing down. I'm gonna tell you guys what does what, why it does it, and how to do it. Okay. We've got a lot of B-roll for that. I've taken that thing, dude, strapped that bitch on, and freaking smoked my dirt bike for 70 miles an hour in pitch black. It's probably not a smart thing to do. I mean, it's a cool thing to have, but it's an absolute necessity for us to hunt. There's a lot of guys that make initial comments on the channel that don't follow us, that don't understand our line of work. Like, oh, you guys dressed up to hunt Osama bin Laden. And I'm like, you're freaking stupid, man. No, I'm not selling rifles to dealers, but there's potential there. If you're a dealer, I'm not saying that I won't. I just got to figure those logistics out. Currently, I've only done, I only ordered enough for 6 rifles this year, because I'm like, I don't even know, man. First of all, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell that many. Second of all, I don't know if I'm going to have the time to fabricate that many and then do what I say I'm going to do with optimized load development and dope. So I wanted to get a feeler rep for it. I wanted to get an idea. And within the first month that they're gone, I don't know how, I don't know. Guys heard about it and they're gone. I had guys say absolutely 100%. Saw the YouTube or the website, hit me up through the email platform. Or there's like a questionnaire just to kind of weed out the guys that don't understand the price of this stuff. And I had them all gone. So I probably honestly could have done 20 rifles this year from the amount of interest. But I'd really like to get them out there and then do a video on them and show guys the capability, how we developed them, what like I said, what we can do with them with the new 62s at a certain distance, and they'll be a hot item. Why run bolt guns over air platform for thermal hunting? I understand bolts you run are second to none, but just curious. That's a good question, dude. And I'm gonna do a podcast on that, but I'll address it here. There's numerous reasons. I'm not saying that I'm not an AR guy. I love ARs. We do a lot of shooting with ARs. I do freaking tons of drills with ARs. I've loved them since before Clinton put the first ban on the pre-bans, initiated the pre-ban. The thing when it comes to hunting is the reliability. In an AR platform where it's cold, where we are, the first ARs, you figured it out real quick. The viscosity of oil, the viscosity of lubricants change when the temperature drops. When shit gets cold, nothing likes to work right, period. Your body, machines, engines, fuel, none of that shit likes to work right when it's 30 below. And we don't want to have to rely on a system that doesn't work when we need to go do what we need to do. You get the idea. So first of all, the bolt gun, you can make it work. You can manipulate the bolt. When an AR goes down on you, most of the time you're packing that bitch up, you're going home, you're disassembling and you're fixing it. So early on, what I did with ARs was we cleaned the bolt carrier group, we cleaned the bolt, we cleaned the chamber, we cleaned everything, the buffer, the tube, the spring, all the whole everything clean, dry clean. I'm saying like brake cleaner, ether spray, degrease. And then we would apply a light, we've tried numerous. Otis makes a really good dry lube that we used. Bortec makes a really good dry lube that we used. And none of them were super great. They're better than not, but we ended up settling on a really light engine oil, a film of engine oil, and it worked good. But here's the thing. That's one aspect. I'm not saying that ARs don't run. They do. You can make them run if you pay attention and you clean them appropriately and you address any issues. When you introduce a suppressor, it's dirtier. You have more issues most of the time. But the way that I look at it is most of the time there's three of us going in, and we all have bolt guns. And you might not have at the beginning of this. I did the thermal kill. We do countdowns and we'll kill at least two, most of the time three at the same time. So that eliminates me needing to break cheek weld or continuously pull the trigger with a semi-auto. We do a lot of work very efficiently. Solo, I agree. An AR might be better, but the way I look at it, when you start going down the road of this is only a 20 rounder, this is only a 5 rounder, but when you have a 30 round mag in an AR, to me that 30 round mag is about equivalent to a 5 round mag in a bolt gun. That's how much more meticulous, that's how much more efficient you are with a bolt gun. You pay attention a lot more to shots. I don't give a shit who you are, man. You guys that are guys, on that freaking one I showed you, and that fourth coyote took off running, every single one of you guys would have been mowing shit down, doing a mag dump on his ass, and he probably would still be running. But those are a lot of the reasons why we run bolt guns. And I'm not saying I'm a better shot. I'm just saying you just got to freaking hold your horses and a lot of times wait for a better shot. Cool. Running shots are cool. They're awesome. They're badass. But why do them if you don't have to? What cell camera are you running? Do you recommend? I've never heard of Spartan Ghosts. I was running the Barn Owl, and those guys were good. We kind of worked out a little bit of deal with them, but they're cheap, dude. I mean, the guy was a veteran, and he's a good guy. I've never met him. Worked a deal with this on some stuff, but I mean, they're just cheaper and they don't have an app. So an app is a big deal for me. I didn't want to have to log in every time. These are just tactic cams. Um, Tighten this up. These are Tacticam reveals. Yeah, reveals. The Reveal SK. I've only had these for like 3 months. I haven't activated this one. I did activate the one down at the kill box, and so far it's awesome. It hasn't. It's got this. I wanted to have the solar on it just because I don't want to go in there dick around with batteries when I don't need to. And so far it's awesome. I'm actually want to try to get somebody in the industry to work with us with trail cameras because it would just make sense. It would be really easy for us to incorporate that kind of camera into like a whole different situation versus just watching a deer blind or a game trail or whatever. But I would want to make sure and align ourselves with a really good reputable manufacturer. Those are what I'm running right now, and I don't have any issues with them so far. Yeah, dude, we grew up on hand calls. Always. That's what we always run. That's what I always recommend, guys. Before everybody's always like, hey, dude, what call do you use? What buttons do you push? What sounds do you start off with? The best thing you can do is learn how to blow an open read call because it teaches you the tone. It teaches you low, high, what you can do with it. That you don't only like a tally ho. You're not just you're not just limited to a jackrabbit and distress on the low end of the tone spectrum, or a cottontail in distress as you kind of go out towards the end of the read. You can also do pup in distress with those things. You learn on a hand call, and it makes you. It's like Tim, not Tim Wells, Tim Tom Miranda. Tom Miranda. The dude was a predator trapper before he became a big time bow guy. Not like got the Grand Slam, Super Slam, freaking killed almost every animal in the world with his bow. And he was 100% right. Trappers make a better bow hunter. They give you um, numerous qualities that aid you in becoming more successful at a bow hunter. They give you patience. They teach you how to lay out, how to work scent, how to work the wind, just crazy things. But what I'm getting at is same thing with the hand call. If you go into the game learning a hand call, you learn to respect it and appreciate it. You don't understand how to appreciate it, how to respect it when you just jump past that stage and you go straight to electronic. Anybody can push a button. Not everybody can make the tone. Not everybody can blow on a hand call and call in a coyote. Period. I've seen it. Learn how to do that. I have in my bino pack. I've done diaphragm. I don't really like them. I don't mess with them, but I 100% use open read and close read calls. And in my bino pack, I have 3 or 4 different hand calls. Whether or not I use them now is irrelevant. That's what I grew up on, and it taught me a whole nother respect and dimension of learning about the sport and how to do it. Why don't you run out of Texas and out with Chris and the Night Crew team? I'd love to. I've said this before. When you ranch, man, you can't just up and leave. You're married to the place. There's things to tend to. You got to check water. You have 600 cattle that are relying on you. They don't just feed themselves. They don't just water themselves. You have to stay around and do work every single day. If it's a weekend, I don't just get to stay home and, hey, man, guess what? It's a weekend. I'm free, or get vacation days. It does. I'm not complaining. I love what I do, but that's why. Any wolves in the area? If you're not, no wolves yet. Had this fella asked me today. No, I have not seen a wolf here. I've seen one wolf in my life, and it was when I was in high school hunting with my high school football coach right above Sheridan, Wyoming, in the Bighorns. I saw a wolf on the way back to camp, and there's a lot of people around here that say they see wolves. They freaking don't know what the hell. If you know what a wolf is, if you know what a coyote is, you should know what a wolf is, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't. I've never seen a wolf here. Do you only hunt friends and families and? Yep. Yep. Because it's not because we are better, or we are more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not obligated, gifted. It's not because of that. It's because we've established a solid reputation with our neighbors. They know that when calving season comes, if they have a coyote problem, if they give us exclusive rights to their ground to hunt predators, we'll be over there every night that they need them, and it's a lot of work. It's a whole nother job. So it's not just you guys get to hunt that ground. It's not that. It's not that at all. Bro, it's too damn cold for dude. That's what we want. We want coyote camp, and we're gonna do it next week when it's like 15 below. 15 below. Adam Johnson. I know an Adam Johnson. Love your videos live being from northern, not the same Adam Johnson from northern Minnesota. It's a completely different landscape over here, but you give me a ton of good ideas. Yep, cool, dude. I appreciate that. And it's something that you can look at. Just because the landscape, the terrain features are differently, you can still apply the same principles. Like, for example, Cal Taylor, we did a podcast with him. I just talked to him this afternoon on the phone for a little bit, and he got a high rack for his pickup. And he even said it to me. He's like, Chris Robinson down in Texas hunts that way on a high rack. And Cal goes, I would have never thought that high rack would work like it does. But shit, James, I get up there and it's easy. And I'm freaking kill 5-10 coyotes before 10 o'clock and I'm done. It's just cool as shit. That's not my cup of tea. It's efficiency and he's smashing. I am still, what I want to do is mobilize. I want to go mobile. I want to have a tripod. I want to go in and try to get them, I want to be on their level. I want to be down on their level and making you guys feel like we're freaking in there with them. But you can, like, what I'm saying is it's cool to see that just because Chris is doing that in Texas doesn't mean that we can't do that up here. Just because we're using certain techniques here doesn't mean you can't use them back there. Quentin Souter, do y'all have production sales for bulls and females, or do you own a sale barn? Grew up raising. So that's a cool question, dude. I actually just got a bull book today from a fella down in Nebraska. We don't sell registered Angus. What we do is we're like kind of a background operation, if you will. We have about 550 mama cows, and then we have about 40 bulls. So when we need bulls, which we usually get probably, depending on the year, every year is different. Sometimes you get bulls that fight, that get broke up. We've had a bull get tipped over in a tank and snap his leg. Just shit from fighting. And you might have to go invest more money in bulls one year versus the next. Generally, you're looking at a bull for every 40 head of cattle, depending on your train, where you're at, what kind of year it is. We would have a little more bulls than that. We probably have a bull for every 30 head of cows to service 30 cows. So come February, March, there's a lot of bull sales, and we'll go and look at the bulls, look at the EPDs, and pick out what bulls we need for heifer bulls or for cow bulls, whatever. And then for our cow operation, usually depending on the year, we'll keep anywhere from 50 to 150 replacements. We'll cull, third, it just depends. Every year is different, culling cows, checking cows, mouthing them, seeing if their teeth are good or bad, or if they need to go to the sale barn. We'll throw them out in a lot out south here, feed them some silage for a couple months, get them some weight, pass them on. But then once we calve, we kick them up to the pasture. We brand them first, cut them, vaccinate them, which is all shit that I should show on YouTube. And then once we bring them back here about October, November, we wean them, put the calves in calf lot in feedlots, and we cut silage, grind hay, and mix a ration. So we combine corn, we put up hay, and then when the time comes, we process all that accordingly. So right now, like what my gig is in the morning, we'll wake up at 7. I'll wake up before that. My little dude will slap me in the face, or my dog will freaking anyway. Wake up, take a cold shower, man, do the sit-ups, go start the tractor. I got to plug my tractor in. I have to do that. Otherwise, I know I will forget. I'm going to write that shit down right now in my hand. Anyway, so that's awesome. Write that on my hand. Wake up, and we'll load the feed wagon. We'll put corn in it. I'll put some liquid protein with rumensin, which is an inophore. It basically gives them a more efficiency. It's more efficient for them. They don't have to eat as much to gain as much. It's kind of a, I don't know. Anyway, then we'll put ground hay, silage, and I'm feeding them. I'm backgrounding till about another couple weeks. Then we'll sell a couple loads of steers, a few hundred head of steers. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with it, but that's how we do a bunch of the cattle. 18 is 2250. Good for swinging quick, but they stabilize well. However, so here's another thing, dude. That's a good question. Just because you have a shorter barrel, now there's a point of diminished returns on this aspect, but a lot of people think that when you put a suppressor on a gun that has an 18-inch barrel versus a suppressor on a gun that has a 24-inch barrel, 24, 22-inch barrel, that's what your traditional style barrel length for those guns. And what's the barrel contour on those? It's not what we use. So you're hanging the weight off of a pencil. And when you shoot, you have harmonics. Most of the time, you eliminate a lot of those harmonics by going with a shorter, heavier, more rigid barrel, therefore increasing accuracy and precision. So just because we're going 18, don't think that we're not getting accuracy. Or the only thing that you can argue with going from a 24-inch barrel to 18 is that we're giving up about 100 feet per second. 150 feet per second, which in the overall scheme of things in a 250 is nothing. Now, if I was shooting a high BC 6.5, 6 millimeter, and I was doing competition or something, I'm going to want to squeeze every bit of performance out of that because I want my round to fly down range as efficiently as possible, and I want to have as much velocity as I can get. But in this, dude, we're only shooting 100 to 400, and we're only compromising a little bit of velocity. It's the only way to go. Maneuverability, overall length with the can. You're not compromising any precision at all. Good question, though. All right, you're a dealer in Fort Worth. Yeah, keep in touch. 100%, dude. Keep in touch. We could work something out. Absolutely. Absolutely, we could. Why don't you shoot me an email? Go to my website, shoot me an email, and tell me, and I'll remember. Do you have to have a dealer license for? No, you don't have to have a dealer license for night vision. Just know who you're talking to. Get the right tube. Get a mil spec. I can walk you through a lot of stuff like that if you want to get into it. Cool, dude. I appreciate that. Your favorite podcast was Randy Anderson. That's awesome. Charging handle is not quiet. I'm not quite sure on that exactly, but be thankful you guys aren't in Canada. We can. I know, dude. I know. Les Johnson was great, but yes, he was. I want to get Les on another podcast. Here in Michigan, legally, we can only have 5-round magazines for hunting. That's all you'll need. Autographed 5-rounders by local gun shop. I just hand called my first coyote in this week. Safety ended up missing, but still cool, dude. Awesome. The most fun is when you call them bastards in, and they don't stop. They just run your ass right over. I've had them touch me, dude. I've had them. It's crazy. It's fun. Rick Pelly sold me his Psycho Tweety hand call at a Predator seminar years ago. I don't leave home without it. Cool. I know Rick. I don't know Rick, but I've talked to him. He's an awesome fella. Are coyotes the only predator? No, we hunt bobcats, mountain lions. Shot bobcats. I've killed a mountain lion. But primarily coyotes just because of the ease of access. The number. There's no bag limit. There's no season. So mountain lions, you get one tag. There's a season in certain places. Bobcats, there's a season December 14th through February 4th. I might be off a couple of days, but there's a limit. Coyotes, there's no limit, which we still have. I would call us seasonal hunters for predators because I like to shoot them when their fur is pretty and prime. My 243 is a 24-inch bull barrel. I'm going to cut it down to 18 and get a 243 specific can, and I'll be close back to 24-inch. Exactly. That's a good decision. All right, fellas. I'll tell you what. Hour and a half. I'm down to the bottom of the questions. I know I didn't get to some of you guys up top. I was kind of going through stuff, but I've had a guy ask us about live streaming a hunt. I'm not gonna go all the way up to the top and go through them. We'll just kill it for now. I gotta go plug my tractor in and crash out, do it all over tomorrow. I don't fur handling. There's guys that do fur handling way better than us. I paid a guy to do ours. I've towed out coyotes, I've towed out bobcats, I've towed out foxes, and sent the fur off to have it tanned, and a lot of them are hanging right now. And I mean, when you tow them out all the way down to the pads and you split them and it takes me about 45 minutes because you're not doing it for the speed. You're doing it because you're going to keep the fur. And if you're going to have somebody that does, I mean, they chop the front legs off. You don't have to worry about it. There's a process, man, that those guys have it down. Like my fur buyer or my skinner that I usually send mine down to, like he'll skin them, he'll flesh them, he'll sew them. If there's a hole. He'll stretch them, he'll wash them in a washing machine. Then he'll stretch them. Then he'll turn them inside out, salt them, tumble them in corn cob media, fluff them up. The amount of work that he goes into, there's no way. I mean, we could 100% tube skin a coyote, easy as shit. Freaking do one in 5 minutes, cut it up, done. There it is. But I'm not gonna go to the work of fleshing and all the shit that he does. I don't have the incentive to do it. Dude, that's good. Plug in the tractor. I like that. Appreciate it, fellas. We used to text all the time. Then I kind of fell off the earth. No numbers now. Yeah, cool, dude. Yep. Likewise. Hope you're doing well too. What guests can we look forward to? There's some guy like there's the fella from Primal Rights that I'm going to do. He just sent me some talking points. He has a primer tool that's in some big retailers. I'm going to try to have Cal Taylor again. Then there's going to be Tori Cook from MFK. I'm going to get Titanic on. Titanic are these guys. They make our pants. They have that logo right there, Titanica. I'm gonna get those guys on, kind of go into detail on why they designed them. There's a few guys I'm gonna get on. I just gotta do it. And what I need to do is just podcast where, like the guy asked, ARs versus bolt guns. We could write down 5 talking points on each and have an hour-long podcast on pros and cons of bolt guns, pros and cons of ARs, and then do a collab at the end where we explain what we like better, why we use what we use. So there's that. Email sent, look for cool, man. Appreciate it. All right, fellas, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna roll out and cool. I'll do this next time with a little bit more of a heads up. I'm gonna next time, I promise we will do it on the community page. I'll make a post on the community page and tell you guys what's up and when we're gonna do it for another live. And maybe we'll get Keith and John on the next time. We'll get Keith and John on the next live and see how it goes. I'm going to leave this one up a little bit, fellas, and then I'll probably delete it. But you guys have a good night. Hope you have a happy new year. Have an awesome weekend. God bless. We'll talk to you later.